Alright, I think we're live. I'm sorry for the issues, guys. I'm having a lot of technical issues. It's Friday night. We have kids. We have company. We have internet that cannot handle all the people streaming from it right now. I probably imagine I've lost a good bit of people watching due to technical difficulties, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know, after the day I've had, I probably should have decided not to live stream. I should have known that technical issues would arise. But it is what it is, and we're gonna just bear with me because we're kind of moving around because I had to move locations as well to live stream. Then my laptop decided it needed to update just as we went to go live the first time. And then the internet started to crap after that. And alright, guys. I didn't get to check the chat in the other live stream, and I'm sorry about that. How is the sound? Is everything sounding okay and ready to go? I'm going to kind of keep going because I don't want to have too many pauses waiting for the lag to kind of catch up. So hopefully the sound's okay. The microphone's doing okay. Not too loud of music. Let me go ahead and read the chat and say hello to everyone. Let's start off. Evil Outcasts in chat. Sleeping Wendigo. Outrun. Let's see. Scroll down. Leon. Hero Askew. Hey guys, how is everyone tonight? Evil says the internet couldn't handle your awesomeness. Alright, I'm just gonna be awesome. To be honest, I do not feel awesome tonight. I've had a pretty rough day. One of those days where you're just kind of like almost to tears a couple of times, but you kind of struggle and truck along through. Let's see. Christian's in the chat. I'm really glad to see you guys all here. It's exciting to see everyone tonight, especially with it being Friday. You guys sure it's not Friday the 13th? I kind of feel like today's Friday the 13th. Leon's sending a cat. Yes, send a cat and send a floof. We need it ASAP. Let's see. Oh, go ahead and start the live stream off right now. That we realize that there's not going to be any. Oh, thank you, Christian, for being on. I know you gotta get up early. Oh, blood work. I'm sorry. I hope it goes really good. I mean, considering like someone's gonna be sticking a needle in your arm, it's kind of hard. Oh wow, Hero. I'm sorry that you're having a rough week. I'm gonna be honest with you. The week was relatively good. I haven't much to complain about. It was a really good week. Today was just I can't even explain to you guys how the days went. And it's hard to explain to people. I know everybody tells you need to talk about your feelings, but unfortunately sometimes it's just really hard to put into words what you're feeling, what you're going through, because a lot of times people don't quite understand, and it kind of makes it worse to try to explain and just make it, they don't understand, or you can't explain yourself, or blah blah blah. So go ahead and start by saying that you can follow the description below. And you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And I don't have a Patreon account, but I have a PayPal account. So that for me is a little easier for you and me. PayPal, you can donate whatever you feel like, and it doesn't bother you or it doesn't bother me. Patreon, kind of set up tiers, and I just really didn't want to have to set up tiers for everyone. So we do it this way. Hey Todd, I'm glad to see you in the chat. It's been a rough day, Todd. It was a good week, but a rough day. I don't know. I can't even describe the week to today. So, I don't know. We're probably gonna get relatively into the stories. I hate taking too long because I've had thousands of comments saying, "Hey, you take too long to get to the story," and that's really annoying. And all right. One thing I'm gonna do real quick is give you guys a choice. We can do real life haunted house stories or 17 famous ghosts within the most 17 notorious ghosts that are intensely horrific or origin stories. So, you guys can pick which one you want. Either A, real life haunted house stories, or B, famous ghosts with horrific past. Thank you, Leon, for saying you like my talks. I actually like it too. I didn't realize that a live stream was so annoying. And if I was, why are you showing up? Anyway. I guess you get the haters and you just have to smile through them. So I try to accompany what everybody would like. And go for it. Just to give everybody a heads up, we have had a COVID scare in our house. I got a call from the school today, and one of my children was apparently running a fever and not feeling good. And I couldn't get off of work, so my mom had to get said children. And I mean, it was like a 2-hour wait between the time they went to the doctor and the time I got off work and could find out what's going on. So, as far as I know, we don't have any COVID in the house, but we have had a scare. So, Todd says both are interesting. Then, but my money is on a haunted house. Leon sending me lots of kitties. Hero says horrific past. I know, it's kind of funny. Notorious ghosts with horrific past. Well, yeah. Duh. Anyway. Alright, everybody's saying haunted house. I am inclined to agree with you. So, I shall say this. I would like everyone to sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, and if you're lucky enough to have someone to snuggle with, unfortunately I am not, so if you are lucky enough to have someone to snuggle with, grab that person, snuggle close, and we shall begin momentarily. Are you guys ready? Alright. Haunted house stories have become a staple of pop culture. You don't need to look far to see the highway billboards challenging you to speed and spend a night in a haunted house, or horror movies about homes built in Indian burial grounds. But are there haunted houses in real life, filled with the ghosts of former occupants? Sorry about that, guys. Phone's not on silent. But are there haunted houses in real life, filled with ghosts of former occupants and grisly murder victims? Thousands of people have testified to experiencing the supernatural at locations all across the world. And the notion of a place being haunted is nearly universal in folklore. These haunted houses are said to be the real deal, complete with ghosts, spooks, and weird things going bump in the night. Whether these haunted homes are real or fake, haunted houses are also popular tourist attractions in the world. Perhaps a mystery, such as the stairway to nothing at the Winchester House, is the real draw to these locations, with visitors coming to some in the millions to decide for themselves if the haunting is real. Now, I have to ask you a big question. Do you believe in haunted houses? Well, do you? So, the next time you're looking for a spooky place to visit, maybe I should suggest to try one of these real haunted houses and tell me how it works for you. Number 1. The White House. The location is the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, has been the home of every American president and his family since the John Adams administration in 1800. Homes in the U.S. don't get much more historic, and few are reported to be more crowded than the undead souls. Now, here's the legend. According to legend, the first lady to take residence in the mansion liked it so much that her spirit remains there today. Abigail Adams, wife of John Adams, can reportedly be seen hanging laundry in the East Room from time to time. Adams probably doesn't get much chance to be lonely, as Dolly Madison, wife of James Madison, has also been spotted hanging out in spirit form in the Rose Garden. Madison, who designed the garden during her husband's administration, allegedly returned to stop work on the garden's removal years later. Kind of something to think about. That's far from all the haunting in this landmark. In the Rose Room, also known as the Queen's Bedroom, President Andrew Jackson has been seen and heard laughing and swearing. After what all he did to the Native Americans, I couldn't see why he would be left haunting the mansion. Finally, many visitors and residents of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue claim to have seen Abraham Lincoln's ghost walking the grounds. First Ladies Eleanor Roosevelt and Grace Coolidge told of spotting Lincoln's ghost in the appropriately titled Lincoln Bedroom. As well, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands claimed that, while spending the night at the White House, she heard Lincoln knocking at her bedroom door. I'm sure it was perfectly innocent, so get your mind out of the gutter. But here's the big question to all of these so-called hauntings. Is it true? Most ghost stories seem to indicate that great traumas or intense emotions are what spark a haunting. Well, gee, my house should be haunted after I'm dead. Ghosts don't want to hang out just anywhere. They occupy those locations where significant events went down. And it's hard to think of a more significant place where more dramatic decisions have been made than at the White House. Still, with so many people walking through the White House every day, it seems an odd place for ghosts to be mucking around unseen. And lots of stories about White House hauntings are patently absurd, such as when Winston Churchill claimed to have been taking a bath in the White House, only to emerge nude and find himself face to face with Lincoln's ghost. Now I have to ask you a question. Why would Abraham Lincoln want to see Winston Churchill naked? I mean, really? Okay, guys, what do you think about haunting in the White House? Okay, I'll take a second to read through the chat. Let's see. Wendigo says, I think most ghosts have a horrific past. I would agree. That's probably why they're ghosts. So just the title alone kind of makes you wonder. Yes, Leon, I do have several dogs and a cat. It's all good. Oh, Evil, I'm sorry you don't have anybody to snuggle with. That's just, I guess that's part of life sometimes. Thank you, Todd, that you love the background. I tried to change things up and give you guys interesting, new things every time we do something. You know, kind of welcome people to the nation of horrors. Get comfortable and stay spooky. Thank you, Wendigo, that you like the fireplace. I thought it might be a good touch being haunted and everything. Oh, yes, a fireplace with a thunderstorm? I know. I'm crazy like that. Yes, I know. I imagine you can hear my notifications. I turned them off. I'm never the most popular until I'm super busy. I can go hours and have nothing and just sit and stare at my phone thinking, why isn't nobody messaging me? Why are they busy and I'm not? But as soon as I get busy, everybody wants me. And then they're mad when I don't message. Poor woman was killed by a dog, yeah. I know, what were you trying to write, Evil? It says 8 BTW. Oh, 8. Oh, you guys are rating. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are keeping up with that. That makes me happy that I didn't have to ask you to rate it. You guys are automatically doing that. I'm so proud of you guys. You're awesome. Alright, we'll get on to the next one. Okay. Number 2. Rose Hall House. The location? Rose Hall House is one of the most famous and lavish homes in Jamaica. It was first constructed in the 1700s at Montego Bay and is most recently refurbished in the 1960s. It is a popular tourist attraction. Now, the legend. In 1820, Haitian-born Annie married John Palmer of Montego Bay. John owned Rose Hall at this point and ran it as a plantation, utilizing slave labor. John died soon after, returning to Rose Hall with his Haitian bride. According to the local legends, Annie was a psychopath who used voodoo and violence to dominate the men of the plantation. Wow, gotta give props to Annie if she figured out that one. She allegedly manipulated the strings of new husbands she acquired over the years, as well as the slaves who worked on the plantation, tolerating them for a time, only to murder them when she lost interest. I would say that she is a black widow. It is said that Annie was eventually killed by another powerful magician, a slave whose family member she had tried to curse. Annie was buried in a special grave on the property, and her spirit reportedly remains in Rose Hall to this day. The site, in addition to being a tourist attraction, has been home to seances and other attempts to commune with Annie's spirit. She has come to be known as the White Witch of Rose Hall. Kind of like this Annie a little bit. But I have a question. Is it true? Almost certainly not. Aside from a book apparently inspired by the house from the 1920s, there is nothing in the historical records to suggest that Annie Palmer was a voodoo priestess using the house as a home base for a bloodthirsty rampage. There was a real John Palmer who had a second marriage to a woman named Annie, but he died soon after the wedding and Annie had to leave the mansion. So, the question is fact legend and is legend fact? Did this really happen but nobody wants to talk about it? Or is it all a bunch of hogwash? What do you think? Hey guys, we're going to take a quick intermission. I will be right back. Do not go anywhere.
Now, I cannot handle you kids and that dog too. Why not so late? You hear everything going on in this house. I'm sorry.
let's carry on to story number 3. Or I should say haunted house number 3. Whaley House. Now, most everybody should have heard about this one a time or two, especially if you've watched Ghost Adventures. So, the location, it's located in San Diego, California. The Whaley House was built over the site where James Robinson, nicknamed Yankee Jim, was executed in 1852 after conviction of grand larceny. A few years after the hanging, Thomas Whaley purchased the land and constructed the home for his family, hence the name. Now, the legend. Yankee Jim was a relatively infamous character in the area. Eventually, he and 2 other men were arrested for stealing a boat, and he was condemned to die. On the day of the execution, Yankee Jim was said to have swung like a pendulum, going back and forth for over an hour, until he finally died. Thomas Whaley was there to witness it. After moving to the home built atop the site of his execution, the Whaleys began hearing strange noises, including the sound of boots stomping around the house. Soon enough, the story spread that the ghost of Yankee Jim was still wandering the grounds, angry about his death. Well, I have a question for you. Wouldn't you be angry if you swung like a pendulum for over an hour for everyone else's amusement? Since the Whaleys and their descendants stopped living in the house in the 1950s, other visitors began to notice strange things. Some reported seeing not Yankee Jim, but the ghost of Thomas Whaley, his wife and children. Now, if I'm not mistaken, his children died of a disease in the same house. And I thought Thomas Whaley was shot, but don't quote me at that. Even television personality Regis Philbin was claimed to have seen a spirit in the home. So the question is it true? Beyond first-hand accounts, the most compelling evidence to date of the haunting in Whaley House include a series of photos appearing to show smoke-like apparitions. Now, if you're totally not convinced by that, I would suggest watching Ghost Adventures. But, I don't know, guys. Everybody wants to swear by ghost adventuring, but what happens when the ghost adventurers seem to be more scared of the ghosts than interested? So, I'm going to stick to the photos of these apparitions, because most of us have heard of the Whaley House. Most of us have seen the pictures. And most of us have seen the Ghost Adventuring episode featuring that. So, question is, are you convinced? Do you believe it's true? What do you think? I'm open for opinions. Alright, let's read the chat. Ghost Adventures, yes. I don't know about you guys. Ghost Adventures is fun to watch just to have fun. But I think I get more annoyed when they poke the ghost, prod the ghost, insult the ghost, and then when a sound's made, it's like, oh, dude, did you hear that? No, dude, I couldn't hear it because you won't shut up. So we need to make a ghost adventuring show where we can actually walk in and not make a bunch of noises. Now, the next question is, I wonder if Meat Locker, Darkest Side, or Matinee Macabre is listening. Because I challenge him, maybe we could be the next best thing since ghost adventuring. It's interesting. Oh, we're getting 8s, a 10, and a 10. I will have to agree. The Whaley House is very, very compelling stuff. I've seen a lot of documentaries about it, and I would suggest if you haven't, and you don't know much about the Whaley House, to watch some things. You definitely can find it on YouTube. Yes, Outrun, Ghost Adventure, or not Outrun, but Outrun's right. It's on Discovery Plus. As far as now, Ghost Adventures are still running to date. I don't much watch it anymore because I can't handle the dude. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? And then peeing their pants every 2 seconds. But in some of the early episodes, like I don't know if you watched the first ever Ghost Adventuring. It was a documentary, and it had some of the most compelling things I've ever seen in my life. But that was back when they were not trying to be famous. They were just trying to actually discover stuff. So I don't know. Well, the next question is, Evil, are you having at-home Chinese, frozen Chinese, or are you buying out Chinese? I'm pretty sure there's more than 3 in the chat, so Wendigo, I wouldn't go by that. I think it's just a glitch. Because I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not into numbers. Alright. Haunted house number 4. Blinkling Hall. The location? Well, before we get to the location, maybe I should give you a little brief history lesson. Everybody's heard of Anne Boleyn, right? She was the second wife of King Henry VIII of England. Henry grew displeased with her after she failed to produce a male heir. Though she did give birth to a daughter, the future Queen Elizabeth, and 2 stillborn babies, if I'm not mistaken, were sons. Henry decided he preferred to be with his new mistress. Isn't that how it always goes? The old, out with the old and in with the new. Anne Seymour, which was his new mistress. So he had Boleyn arrested and locked up in the Tower of London. It was there she was executed for several falsified charges on May 19th, 1536. Now, Blinkling Estate in Norfolk was where Anne was born, though the Boleyn family home no longer stands on the grounds. So, the legend. The circumstances surrounding Boleyn's death have made her a key figure of fascination in British history. Almost immediately after her execution, stories of her practicing witchcraft, and even laughing in the face of death, started to spread like wildfire. Even the governor of the Tower of London, present at her execution, reportedly said this lady had much joy and pleasure in her death. Each year on May 19th, it is said that a headless Anne Boleyn visits Blinkling Hall. Apparently, she's nostalgic. So, Anne Boleyn is a nostalgic ghost. According to local legend, Anne arrives each year in a carriage, led by a headless horseman, though it's not exactly known where the head of the horseman lies. Anne carries her detached skull along with her for the ride. Anne's father, Sir Thomas Boleyn, is also thought to haunt the grounds. Now, the biggest question, is it true? There are so many stories about Anne Boleyn's ghost appearing in various spots all over England. It's a bit difficult to take any of these too seriously. I mean, she's riding a carriage with a headless horseman. Sounds like something from Sleepy Hollow, now doesn't it? For example, on Christmas, Anne appears in Kent at Heavey Castle, as well as in Essex of Richford Hall, where her family also spent time. Either Anne is seriously committed to being a ghost, or people are just fascinated by her and thus see her in many places. So, the big question is, what do you think? Now, me personally, I could see Anne Boleyn being a ghost. I could see her possibly haunting several locations. Because, I mean, wouldn't you feel a little bit angry If you were married to the King of England and he decided to ditch you for his new mistress, all because you couldn't give a child or a child of what he wanted? So I don't know. I think I would have some fun being a ghost in that situation. So, what do you think? Totally plausible? Or, oh my gosh, guys, get over it. Alright, let's read the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Evil. But Frozen is just as good. Sometimes if not better. Actually, Wendigo, on Ghost Adventures, it wasn't a rock that got thrown at him. It was a big brick. And they actually have it on videotape. It shooting across the room, and the way it spun and landed, it was no way that a person could have done it. And that, like, the trajectory of it. So, I would say I would pee my pants too, but later episodes, like, I forgot what season it started, but where they would just sit there and provoke the ghost and then start screaming and crying like little girls every time something happened. Not to be ugly, if you're going to provoke a ghost and then it's going to attack you, then why scream about it? You totally asked for it. So, yes, Wendigo, the dude actually killed most of his wives. I guess if you're a man and a man in power, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of do what you want, and that's kind of sad. Yeah, I think you're right. I think one of them actually was killed for just being ugly. Which, I mean, I hate to say this, did he not see what she looked like before they got married? Because, I mean, this is back before you could, they had, Maybelline and CoverGirl. So I'm pretty sure you would have known she was ugly before you married her. But it is what it is, I guess. I just realized that I did not get anything to drink. Well, we're committed already, guys, so we're going to keep going. Wendigo, I'm just going to be honest. Some of the kings, I'm just going to be honest, because of their power, they could marry sisters, sister-in-laws, so forth and so on. I'm sorry, Evil, that the baby's crying. Alright, we got 8.5 and an 8. What do you guys think? I'm going to give it a strong 9 just because I am very fascinated by the stories of Anne Boleyn. Let's see. Alright, let's head on to number 5 on our list of haunted houses is Ballygolly Castle. Now, its location is in Northern Ireland. Overlooking the sea is this picturesque Ballygolly Castle. The castle was built in 1625 by James Shaw of Scotland and his wife. The home remained in the Shaw family until the early 19th century, when it was sold by James Shaw to his descendant, William Shaw. Today, it is operated as a hotel by Hastings Hotel Group. It holds the distinction of being the only occupied residence from the 17th century in Northern Ireland. Now, the legend. Perhaps the most notable ghostly residence of the castle is Lady Isabella Shaw, the wife of James Shaw. According to one story, after Lady Shaw gave birth to a boy, the prize male heir for Lord Shaw, her husband locked her away in the castle's tower, separating mother from child. While attempting to escape and steal back her baby, Lady Shaw allegedly fell to her death from the tower. Today, she's believed to wander the hallways in the tower room, occasionally knocking on the doors to random rooms, looking for her child. Madame Nixon, another former resident, also appears from time to time in the castle, wandering around in the silk dress she wore. There is a room in the castle located within the turret that is locally known as the Ghost Room and isn't rented out to guests. Numerous other ghost stories have circulated relating to the castle. One former manager of the hotel claims to have once set up an elaborate dinner party in an area known as the Dungeon Room, only to return and find that the table in complete disarray. Others have said that due to all the battles that have taken place on or near the grounds, that this ghost of the dead soldiers still appear. The ghosts of dead soldiers still appear in visitors on the property. A variety of psychic mediums claim to have detected restless spirits in various points in the castle as well, with one notable claiming that the hotel had more ghosts occupying its rooms than guests. I mean, really? So, the question is it true? The place certainly seems creepy. Here's a shot of the ghost room, which unfortunately I can't show you at this moment, but I'll post later. It's a plain white room with a picture of a creepy woman on the wall, a bed that looks like it still has an occupant, and a side table for your washing. Very bleak, very grim, very sad looking. Furthermore, former manager Olga Henry herself, a skeptic when it comes to hauntings, has some pretty creepy anecdotes about guests who receive considerable scares. One in particular concerns a guest staying alone, who felt the presence and even heard the noises of children in his room. But at last, it seems that the ghost room may in fact just be a gimmick. Certain bloggers have stayed in the room and not actually observed anything supernatural. Maybe the ghosts just didn't like those bloggers. One noted that the ghost room is surprisingly modern and not even locked away from the rest of the hotel. I don't know, according to this picture, it does not look that modern to me, but anyway. Which seems like a precaution you take if there were actually ghosts. So, I have to ask you a big question. Do you believe it's true? Do you think it's fake? I don't know. I sometimes believe that old places with long histories can forge different scenarios, whether it's a death echo or an actual ghost. I'm not 100% sure. But if I married a man, gave birth to his child, and was locked into a tower just so he can have his way, I might find myself inclined to haunt that tower as well. So, what is your opinion? Let me know. Thank you, Wendigo. If you are in the chat and you don't feel comfortable talking, that's fine. Or you can't, that's fine as well. If you're new to the channel, I really strongly urge you to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification, because for some reason YouTube really likes for you to be subscribed, likes for you to hit the bell icon, and no matter how tedious it sounds, even if you're in the live chat, to leave comments. Because leaving comments and sharing, hitting the share button, it just shows interaction with the videos, and for that, YouTube really, really likes that. Also, I didn't get to tell you guys before we started that we are so close to about 3 milestones according to YouTube. One of which is we are about, according to, as of tonight, 55 subscribers away from hitting our 5,000. 5,000, guys. That's so close, yet so far. So I encourage you, if you can, if you do magic, do some magic for this channel. If you pray, pray for this channel. And if you can't do any of the above, hit that share button, because that really does help, hitting the share button, passing the word along, because I think I'm not too bad. I think I do pretty good on this channel. The second milestone is we are about 4,000 minutes, I think it's minutes, away from hitting the next milestone on watch time. and 33 videos to hitting the milestone of 300 videos posted on the channel. So the 33 videos is all up to me. I've got to do that one, guys. But you guys can watch, comment, subscribe, like, share, pass this channel around. I mean, I get to the point where you start aggravating people at this point because we want to grow this channel. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Todd, for telling me I rock. I'm trying really hard. I think if I would not have let so much get to me and just kept working with the channel more instead of taking so many breaks due to personal reasons, I think the channel would be surpassed on 5,000 and probably close to 10,000 if I could have just, kept going. But at last, it is what it is. So, on to the next one. The sixth haunted house on our list is let's see, I'm not even sure if I can pronounce this right. Looks like Rainham Hall. The location? Well, Rainham Hall was built in Norfolk, England in 1620 at the behest of Sir Roger Townsend. The home was built in a popular Italian style that would become the rage in England many years later, making Rainham Hall notably ahead of its time, and known as one of the finest stately country homes in the area. The home is also notable for the extensive work done on the house by famous English designer William Kent. Many of Kent's finest pieces, along with a variety of other artwork he hand-picked for Rainham Hall, can still be found in the home to this day. So, the legend. One of Sir Roger's descendants, Charles Townsend, married a woman named Dorothy Walpole in 1712. It is rumored that Lord Townsend found out his wife was having an affair. Ooh, now the shoe's on the other foot. Someone else is having an affair. So after finding out that his wife was having an affair and locked her up in the home in 1725, where she died a year later from illness. The first sighting of her ghost, which came to be known as the Brown Lady because of her brown dress, took place at Christmas in 1835, where a guest of the house saw her in the halls. He said she was wearing a brown satin dress and seemed to glow from behind. Seemed to glow from behind her empty eye sockets. His account led to many of the house's servants leaving the house immediately, refusing to return, and I don't think I blame them for that one. Numerous notable figures claim to have seen the Brown Lady while staying in the Rainham Hall. One of the first and most infamous encounters happened to King George IV. When he stayed in one of the home's staterooms, he claimed to have woken and to find the deathly pale lady hovering near his bed. Well, the next question is it true? Well, the Brown Lady is the subject of arguably the most famous ghost photo of all time. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, it's circulated so many times, but it's a black and white picture of a stairwell with a ghostly apparition coming down the stairwell. I've seen it numerous times, and I find it pretty compelling. It's up to you if you do or don't. So, this famous ghost photograph is famous, probably one of the most famous of all time, which is fairly unsettling. However, the Brown Lady story does not feel a bit like the product of the Victorian fascination with both the occult and sexual moralization, rather than an acute account of the Townsend marriage. Still, it's hard to argue with the seriousness and the intriguing of some of these witnesses. In my opinion, I'm going to ask you your opinion first. So, what do you think? Do you think it's truly haunted? Yes, no, and rate. My opinion, I give this about an 8.5. Well, the picture makes it about a 9.5. So, I give it a 9.5 due to the picture. But what do you guys think? Let's see. Let's see what the chat says. Yes, Wendigo, I've noticed a lot of these ghost stories have to pretty much do with cheating. So maybe the moral of these stories is unless you want to be a ghost haunting a house, maybe you shouldn't cheat, or kill your wife, or take the child, or kill your wife because she didn't give you a child, or kill your wife because she didn't give you a son. I don't know. Maybe it's all of the above. Maybe we should start thinking about, anyway. I find this story very compelling. I think the picture makes it one of the most compelling of all. So I'm going to give this a 9, maybe a 9.5, just because I've seen the picture 1,000 times, and it's very eerie, very creepy. Kind of gives me the chills. It gives off a vibe that it's a very, very real picture. And back when it was taken, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you could fake the photography of it. So... anyway. Yeah, you're right, Wendigo, or lock them up. Maybe there's a moral to maybe treating your spouse with kindness instead of locking them up. I don't know. Abusing them, beating them, cheating on them. I guess it's kind of one-sided because most of these stories are about men cheating. I don't know. Yes, but you're right, Leon, treat your lady like a queen. But ladies, in the same token, you can't expect to get all the great treatment if you can't treat your man like a king. So, it goes back and forth. Alright, this next one I find super interesting. In fact, I've actually done a whole video on my channel dedicated to this. So, haunted house number 7 is the Bell Farm. The location? Well, here we go. In the early 1800s, farmer John Bell and his family moved from North Carolina to Red River, Tennessee, which is not too far from where I'm at. Today, it's now called Adams, Tennessee. He eventually came to own over 300 acres of property in the area and became a respected local leader and elder of the town church. I can see where this might be going, guys. Now the legend. By most accounts, strange things started happening on the Bell family farm around 1817, which have been blamed on entirely known as the Bell Witch. There are several popular stories. There are a few of them that are more intriguing variations. So here we go. John Bell found a strange animal on the property that looked like a half dog, half rabbit. The Bell children started hearing strange sounds, which at times resembled vermin invading their rooms and gnawing at their beds. Faint whispering heard around the house that resembled an old woman softly singing hymns. The Bells found a vial of unknown liquid sitting around the house. They tested it out by giving some to the cat, which soon died. John Bell grew ill in 1820, by some accounts owing to the stress of terror of believing a witch was haunting him. In other accounts, John became sick because the Bell Witch had given him some of the strange liquid that killed the cat. It was said that after John's funeral, the Bell Witch could be heard laughing and singing in the graveyard. Now, I don't know about you guys. I've heard so many legends of the Bell Witch that I'm entirely inclined to ponder. There was even a movie made about the same Bell Witch. So, whether fact means fiction or fiction means fact, the question is it true? President Andrew Johnson certainly believed so. Oh, excuse me, I just totally messed that up. President Andrew Jackson, which I don't know if I put too much stock in him considering how he was to the local indigenous people. He certainly believed it was entirely true. He became intrigued by the stories of the haunting, and in 1819 took a trip there to investigate further. Peculiar things started happening almost immediately upon his arrival at the farm, such as the wagon he was bringing suddenly became immobile, with horses refusing to budge. I don't know. There is a local legend that close to the Bell farm there is a cave, and it has Native American remains. So maybe the Native Americans also got pissed at Andrew Jackson for what all he did. Curious. However, it's hard to tell how much of this report is folklore versus actual history. Most accounts of the Bell Witch come from the 1894 book by a journalist named Martin Van Buren Ingram, called An Authenticated History of the Bell Witch of Tennessee, which was written decades after the events took place. The story has inspired a number of notable pop culture haunted houses and ghost stories. The horror film An American Haunting is a largely fictionalized retelling of the raping of his daughter. And the Bell Witch is actually a manifestation of her anger and grief. Spoiler if you haven't seen that movie. So, what do you guys think? Fact, fiction, fiction, fact? I don't believe in any dramatization from the movie An American Haunting. That's totally dramatized for television. But I've seen lots and lots of stories about the Bell Witch. If I'm not mistaken, Ghost Adventures, one of my favorite episodes, did an episode on the Bell Witch. And I would suggest watching it. It's very interesting, very intriguing. I give this a 9.9. I fully believe this one. I don't know if it's because I grew up with it because I live so close to that place, or I just inclined to believe this ghost story. I actually believe this one. So what are your opinions? What do you think? Hit me up and let me know. No Wendigo. Bell Farm is not about Wendigos. Wendigos or not Wendigos. Skinwalkers. Skinwalker Ranch is out there toward the west, so it's nowhere near us. Oh, Night Wendigo, I'm sorry that you have to go. It is getting late. I imagine a lot of people, we've had a lot of setbacks tonight with this live stream. Like I said, guys, it feels like Friday the 13th. Alright. I think we'll do a couple more of these, and we'll do a second part of haunted stories or haunted houses next week. What do you guys think? We'll do about 3 more, and then chat a little bit, and then finish up the haunted house stories next week as well. Let me know what you think in the chat. 3 more haunted house stories, a little chatty poo, then Betty poo for me, and next week we will do some more of these. Hey Chaos, how are you doing? Oh, I like that. Nationholics. I love that. That's awesome. Alright, everybody seems interested. We'll do 3 more of these stories and chat a little bit, the Nappy Poo, Betty Poo, and then next weeky Poo we do it again. So, alright. Haunted house story number 8. Borley Rectory. Rectory? Rectory. I guess. I think they misspelled that, or I did when I was writing this. We'll just go with it. Borley Rectory. The location is Borley is a small town in Essex, England, near the border with Suffolk, on the eastern coast of the country. In 1863, the location became home to a church, also called Borley, which had a large rectory on the grounds built by its first rector, Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis Bull. My gosh, could these get any harder to try to say? According to Latter, paranormal investigators, there were ghostly activity on the property, some which was connected to tragedies that happened centuries earlier. So the legend. The origin of the ghostly nun story dates back to the site's original purpose as a monastery, a claim that has not been proven by historical records, but supposedly a monk from the monastery carried on an affair with a nun. Scandalous. Apparently the nun was from a nearby convent. When the couple were found out, the monk was beheaded, and the nun wailed. The nun was walled up inside the cellar where she died. Wow. Reverend Bull's own family reported seeing the sorrowful ghost nun haunting the grounds in the 1900s. And the nun appeared to servants, villagers, and others who visited Borley Rectory. After Reverend Bull died, his own ghost was reportedly sighted. In the late 1920s, Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his family lived at the Borley Rectory for a year and experienced a great deal of paranormal phenomena. They invited the then noted paranormal investigator Harry Price to inspect the rectory. Price claimed to discover violent, chaotic poltergeist activity. Reverend Smith and his wife then moved out. The next reverend to move in was Lionel Forster, who arrived at the rectory with his beautiful wife, Mary Ann. The spirit of the rectory appears to have taken a liking to Mary Ann, singling her out for attention, and allegedly even writing messages on the walls for her. One example was, "Mary Ann, please help me get out." Forster arranged then to have the home exorcised of all the evil spirits, which is said to have worked for a time, but soon enough the vengeful spirit returned, attacking Forster's child, turning wine to ink, and other horrors. Well, I guess if you touch somebody's wine, I guess that is pretty horrific, huh? The Forster family moved out of the rectory shortly after. Harry Price, still intrigued by the strange phenomena happening at the rectory, rented it himself in 1937 and began a series of tests and experiments meant to determine exactly what was happening at the Borley Rectory. A year after Price's stay there, the rectory burned down. Price returned to inspect the grounds in 1943 and claims to have found a jawbone that could have belonged to a nun. So, the big question: is it true? Harry Price's team logged a large amount of research and observations relating to their time spent at the Borley Rectory, and a number of photographs of spirits came out of this period. As well, a number of original individuals involved in the Borley legend spoke publicly about their experience, including Mary Ann, who suspected that some of the actions created to the Borley ghost were probably hoaxes or fakes, but still maintained that the house was likely haunted. It's also extremely unlikely that the story about the ghost nun is accurate, and by the 1930s, this version of events had already been wildly discredited. It's believed to have come from popular novel of the time by Rider Haggard. This this obviously hurts the believability of all the later stories, as the undead nun trapped forever in the rectory walls seemed to have been the original source of all the other legends. Finally, though a series of exorcisms were undertaken, and Price even found the jawbone amidst the rubble, and gave it a proper Christian burial, sightings of the ghosts around where the rectory stood continue to this day. What more could this ghost possibly want after centuries of wandering around aimlessly? I mean, the rectory burnt down. What are you still looking for? So, what do you think? Do you think that it's real? Do you think it's fake? I'm going to give this a 5, because to be honest, if the haunting hinges around a torrid affair between a nun and a monk, then what happens if the nun was never executed or walled up, and if the monk was never executed and the nun was never walled up, then where did the ghost come from? Makes you question. So let's go to the chat and see what you guys think. I agree with you, Chaos. We need to summon Sam and Dean, burn them bones with salt. Oh, it looks like our local, the high school that my kids go to, is in its fourth quarter, and it's 30-0, and we're winning. Exciting. I have to give you guys that little update, even though you probably don't really care. Let's see. Alright, let's get on to Haunted House number 9, Edinburgh Castle. The location? Well, Edinburgh Castle is in Scotland. It sits atop the famous volcanic Castle Rock. Was constructed by King David I in the 12th century, and it remains the seat of the Scottish king until the English overtook it in 1650. After that, it endured many sieges and was used as a prison in the 18th and early 19th centuries. Today, the site is one of Scotland's most popular tourist attractions and one of the most iconic images of the country. Now, the legend. Or should I say the legends? Because of the location's key significance in Scottish history, there are too many ghost stories circulating about this place to even compress into anything less than an essay. So in brief, I shall say, a ghostly drummer and piper can be heard throughout the castle whenever it's about to be attacked. Obviously, this hasn't happened in a while, prior to the 1650 siege of the castle by Cromwell's forces. The drummer was spotted and identified as the ghost of a headless boy. The dungeons, where numerous prisoners were held and tortured, are thought to be populated by some restless spirits, and visitors can now tour the dungeons and find out for themselves. If I'm not mistaken, several ghost adventuring shows have went to this place. So, drumroll, is it true? Well, probably not, unless you're a ghost adventurer and you've watched a ghost adventuring story where it's completely true. But still, there's more evidence pointing towards Edinburgh Castle being haunted than almost any other place on Earth. In 2001, a study was conducted on the castle, testing the reactions of people who had never heard of the legend of a haunting and explored the castle. 51% of the subjects reported experiencing something supernatural in areas that were previously identified as haunted. In other areas, only 35% of subjects reported supernatural ongoing. Among the reports, there were strange shadows and sensations of something tugging at their clothes. So, what do you think? What is your opinion? Don't let somebody else tell you. Do you believe in science that 51% subjects that had never heard of Edinburgh Castle discovered and felt supernatural happenings while they were there? While only 35% who knew about the hauntings could report anything happening. I don't know, guys. For me, I feel like it's plausible. I mean, it's haunted. It's old. It went through how many battles? I'm gonna give it a 7, and say it's very, very, very likely. So we shall go to the chat and see what you guys think. Yep, my local high school where my kids go is doing good. I'm excited for them. Which, of course, my niece is a color guard, so she's at this game tonight. I can't be there because it was an away game, and it's like 2 hours away, and I can't travel that and get up and go to work tomorrow. Wonderful job. Let's see. Yeah, you tell him, Leon. Beep off, Oliver Cromwell. Yes, you're right, Chaos. The place has much history, so I mean, it's bound to have energy built up. So I mean, that's one of the things about a lot of these haunted stories is the energy that's there. So I mean, it's to me, very plausible. Yeah, I agree, Todd, that it's very likely to believe it's true. Outrun, yeah, it's old. Leon signed an American, Irish, Scottish, Scandinavian witch. Ooh, intriguing. I'm interested. Oop, about knocked my microphone off its stand. Oh. Alright. Alright. Our final of the night. Number 10. The Crescent Hotel. Its location? Well, first, I must say, the Gothic-style Crescent Hotel of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, is sometimes called the Grand Old Lady of the Ozarks, and is often listed as the most haunted place in all of the Ozark Mountains, a location known for its colorful folklore. The haunted hotel and spa was designed by famous Missouri architect Isaac Taylor and built in 1886. Eureka Springs had recently become infamous as the home of healing spring waters, which were believed to have curated properties that could heal a variety of ailments. Tourism to the area also got a boost when a stop on the newly built Frisco Railroad was built close by. Interest in the resort waned by the turn of the century. After it became clear that the springs, though delightful for holiday goers, doesn't actually help cure anything. It has been run in the intervening years alternatively as a hotel and health clinic, and is currently open as a spa and resort. Alright, I'm sorry about that. Now, the question is it... Let's hear about the legend. Rumors and stories about hauntings at the Crescent started as soon as construction began, It is said that one of the workers, in most accounts, a stonemason named Michael, plunged from the roof to his death, landing in the spot currently occupied by room 218. Naturally, strange noises have been reported in this room over the years by guests. Most of the horror stories surrounding the Crescent concern the years it was operated by a Charleston named Norman Baker. Baker, who was not a licensed physician, intended to use the Crescent as a clinic for people with cancer. Local legends sprung up around the clinic, however, about Baker's cruel and gruesome treatments. Baker was arrested in connection with the scheme in 1940 and did 4 years in prison, abandoning the hospital thereafter. But it is said that the ghosts of his tormented patients still linger there, most famously a nurse named Theodora. There is also a ghostly cat named Morris. So, the question is it true? The Crescent is a popular location for TV shows and documentaries about ghost hunters and has appeared on Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters, NBC's Today Show, and A&E Haunted Road Trips, and elsewhere. It is important to bear in mind, though, that much of the Crescent's business depends on the fascination with its haunting. It is everyone's financial best interest to make sure that there is an appropriate number of sightings. As well, Baker has never charged with torturing or brutalizing patients, merely just defrauding them. So, the question is, what do you guys think? Do you believe it's true? Fact, fiction, fiction, fact. It's entirely up to you. I feel that with the energy surrounding being tortured and everything that goes with it, I feel that it's highly plausible. Very, very, very plausible. So, what do you guys think? I agree, Outrun. I think it would be for the money. Right there is enough to make you seriously doubt any type of ongoings, because there's money involved. So, I don't know. I'll give it a 5, just because who knows? Maybe, maybe not. All right, now that the stories are done, guys, what do you want to talk about? I'm very, 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 very curious. Because I'm not really sure what I want to talk about tonight, guys. It's getting late. I don't know if you guys are ready to call it a night. Talk a little bit. I don't know. I would still want to see the ghost cat. I would like somebody to actually give some street cred to that. No spiders. You want to talk about spiders, Outrun? Now the next question is, what kind of spiders? Flying spiders? Spiders in your bum? I don't know. Where is Darkest Side, Meat Locker, and Matinee Macabre when you need him? Tell me that there's spiders coming out of my butt and chasing me down the hallway. Oh man, with Halloween coming up, guys. Which, speaking of Halloween, I posted about 2 weeks ago about a mega collab that I was going to start working on. I was going to give it a deadline of September 9th, but I think I'm going to push it to October 9th and get ready to make it a big Halloween mega collab. So, what do you guys think? I think that would be a great idea to kind of get things back ready, as well as doing a Halloween mega collab. I think I'm going to do a Halloween live stream of the Halloween party that we usually annually do here. Probably won't get everybody in the camera because not everybody wants to be filmed, and that's perfectly fine. Leon, the tribe I belong to I am Lakota, Sioux, and Cherokee. My dad's side of the family was Lakota, Sioux, and my mom's side of the family is Cherokee. Which is funny because our new dog is Lakota Sioux Nation. So, go figure on that one. Butt bugs? Bed bugs? Oh my gosh, you guys are freaking me out. I think bed bugs might be highly more scary than butt bugs. That's just my opinion. But then again, butt bugs would be on your body, so... But now the next question is the bugs out on your butt, did they come from your bed? So now they're bed butt bugs. Intriguing. And highly too much for this late at night. I turned my phone off and silent now. Got like hundreds of messages. So, how was you guys' week? I don't know if we discussed that. There's been several people come in the chat. We may have to call it a night soon, guys, because we've been live streaming for an hour and 30 minutes. And unfortunately, I'm getting lots of messages that people are... some people might be getting close to the end of this live stream. Usually everybody starts ducking out as soon as the stories are done. I've already noticed that several people already have ducked out of the live stream now that the stories are done. Even though you sleep covered up, you never know what bugs could get in that butt. Be careful. Stay safe with that on that one. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is... say this. Don't forget in the description below, guys, that you can find me on TikTok. I highly encourage you to follow your favorite content creators on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me and Snapchat. You can find me on all of those under Lily C Nation. To be honest, I am the only Lily C Nation, and most of them have a picture of my face or a picture of some artwork I've done. Oh no, somebody's done for me. Anyway. Don't forget that I have a PayPal account. So if you like what you hear, you can donate, even if it's Lakota's trying to get in the door to say hi. I think he's saying hi through the door. But anyway, guys, there's a PayPal account for you. You can pass that around. People can donate. The more you like, maybe the more you can donate. Vice versa. Not a big deal if you don't. Not gonna like hunt you down and like, beat you with bamboo sticks or anything. But I highly recommend hitting the subscribe and the little bell notification, because subscribing means YouTube will leave me alone, and hitting the bell button lets you know when I am putting out new things. Because in the very near future, I've already made a couple of videos. We're fixing to start uploading. We're hopefully going to have an upload schedule of live stream on Monday, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday a video if I can get those up, and a live stream on Friday. Now that's a lot to take on. Might have to gradually work into that schedule, but we are going to do it. And hopefully we're going to have a mega collab coming out right before Halloween for you guys, and a Halloween live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and say it, guys. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and as always, I love you guys, and I'll see you or talk to you in the next video. Bye.